here. And then the last one, the future of schools. The future of schools is in primary, which is this block where you're seeing people go to there. So you have the three. I expect that those who are here for green solutions for schools. I think what I can do is, I think Meryl should have been the one supervising this session, but I can help Meryl because I can run through Paul's bio before I invite Paul. David, I know you have loaded Paul's presentation. David, can we have Paul's presentation? Frank, are you managing this session? But they have, you better consult first. I can allow you 2 minutes consult. There is a way they've agreed on modalities of moving this session. Then they'll introduce each other. Again, we will manage this session. It should have been concluding at 3:20. We only have 33 minutes to go, so I guess we will go all the way to 3:30. So you will have 43 minutes. Frank, we'll have 43 minutes, so we are going up to 3:30. And hopefully 3:30 we should get everyone in the room. So the moment you start seeing people walk in clearly, Frank, your time will be done.
Thank you very much, Maurice. So this session is for two presenters, but they are going to be presenting in a complementary way. So also to be efficient with time, we'll have the Q&A at the end of the presentation. So we have Alan Semakula and Peter Chimera, Paul Chimera. So these are the two presenters that are going to be taking us through this particular session. So we will start with Paul, and then seamlessly the second presenter will come through. The stage is yours. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Paul Chimera, and I'm sharing about green solutions for schools. So we're looking at things like clean cooking, looking at sanitation, the water supply, those aspects that maybe are not so looked at by different people. And this is the current situation with regard to, specifically for Uganda, in terms of water provision on the premises for schools. We are at about 23 to 28% for primary and secondary schools. That's for water. Sanitation, improved sanitation is still quite low, up to 17%. With regard to provision for hand washing, probably because of COVID, that's improved. It's between looking at aspects of water supply and treatment. We'll start with rainwater supply. My colleague Alan will get into more detail on this, but one of the technologies that we're using in terms of storage are tanks made out of interlocking stabilized solid blocks. And here we are doing a double wall. This is an above ground tank, and with a capacity of 160,000 liters. We have done tanks underground with a capacity of up to 450,000 liters using the same technique. This is an underground tank water supply at a school on Entebbe Road called Casper Stone Junior School. It's an underground, so the school it's a small school for around 100 people, so this was a 40,000 liter tank. And as you can see, it has a slab, but the other elements that it has is a small filter tank that works on the principle of the biosand filter. So there's some aggregate, some sand, and larger aggregate. So it filters through. It's what you're seeing in the middle picture, that's the smaller tank. And then we are able to supply the school water to the elevation tank, which distributes to the school, including have a membrane filter so that we can actually access clean drinking water. These are also other options for groundwater supply. I think one of the headaches for institutions, particularly health facilities and schools, is even when they do have pipe water supply, they cannot afford it. I think for those in Uganda, it's almost a proverb to hear of a health facility whose bills have run so high. So these alternative sources, I know for a lot of private schools in the country use alternative sources, including groundwater. So this one is for groundwater, which is pumped to an elevation tank. And you have a tap stand there, and they're also able to have a power flush latrine to ensure hygienic sanitation. There are a number of options for water treatment. The point of use, like the biosand filters and the ceramic filters, but also you have the membrane filters that can be connected to the pipe system and provide drinking water as an alternative to boiling. With regard to sanitation, there are a number of hand washing facilities, from the very low-cost tippy-tap, which is a jerry can, a stream, and a mechanism in which the user steps and tips the jerry can, and these others, which I'm sure we are familiar with. There's the pedal tap as well, the normal hand wash basin. And there's also a washer lot, which has been promoted in many schools in Kampala, particularly by GIZ and Water for People. That has, it also encourages washing because many students can get to this. It also helps in the aspect of behavior change around hand washing. This is maybe an exemplar of drainable school latrine. This was done by USAID, other than Uganda Sanitation for Health Activity. And it's a drainable pit latrine. As you can see, one of the features that they added is on the top left is that there's a tank with 3 taps, and this is getting water off the roof for hand washing. And then in the middle, we have provision for menstrual hygiene, a place where the girls can clean up. And then there's also a provision for an incinerator on the right, which helps with managing the menstrual hygiene waste, especially if they're single-use pads, because frequently they just get thrown into the latrine, and then this creates a problem when trying to empty these drainable pits. This is another one which is promoted by GIZ. It's a power flush latrine, and you see in one of the rooms, you see a bucket for the menstrual waste. It's a power flush system, and in many cases, these are also connected to the sewers where available. At the bottom, we see, bottom left, we see a urinal for girls, and on the bottom right, a urinal for boys, and there are hand washing facilities above that. In terms of clean energy, one of the technologies that does saving, maybe 50 to 60% in terms of the wood fuel are the rocket stoves, and they are mobile ones which can be moved afterwards. These are typically made of stainless steel. Then there are also the fixed ones, and this is all really around managing the efficiency of cooking and reducing the carbon footprint. Then there's an improved hybrid cook stove, and the idea around this one, if you look on the left, is you have two stoves, and in the center you have, at the bottom is really a giant flask. So this is a hybrid cook stove. As you cook, as the food is cooked, you also heat a water jacket. So instead of maybe a clay jacket around the stove, you have a water jacket. That means that if you look at the middle picture, there's a tap there, and in that tap there is hot water. So they are able to, instead of starting to cook at maybe 20 degrees of room temperature, you're able to start at maybe about 80 degrees each cooking cycle, because you already have some stored hot water. So that's also similar, 3 stoves on the left. In terms of waste management, I think a big concern for many schools is around menstrual hygiene management. And the 2 pictures on the left and the middle, is a design of an incinerator that's also from stainless steel, and it has a provision for a chute through which the pads can be disposed, making the users less likely to throw them into the toilet or a pit through the drop-on. And then for storage structures, here we see on the left a big kind of pipe going down that also provides for the pads to fall down right up to the bin, which can then be collected and taken to a point where it's managed. Then in terms of organic waste, there's vermicomposting, where worms can be used to break down the waste and form a compost. So in those pictures we have really it's a rectangular shape of a composter just covered with a papyrus mat. In the middle we have the compost, and then on the right we have the worms. Then another one around plastic, that's a very big concern. There's a company called Ecoplastile that's doing some work around this and creating roofing tiles from the plastic with sand, so we call it a polymer insurance or even airtime. Then there's an organic composter, which is also a low-cost way for schools maybe to compost. And this has value because each of these, which is made from timber and papyrus with an iron sheet cover, might cost about $300, $400. And yet the compost that comes out when it's full may be worth maybe about $1,500. Thank you very much.